Hey everybody, thanks for watching Weekend Garage Show. Today we're going to go ahead and continue getting this cable installed for the Mega Fuse block. So this is the power cable that's going to land from basically this is going to follow the main positive cable from the battery. It's going to go basically right next to it and land on the starter, on the solenoid. So what I need to do is I need to put a connector on this, and I'm going to show you guys an idea basically of how to do this. I already have, let me make sure it's the right size here. I did stick one in the vise here, but I was double checking the size just to make sure that we don't get too big. And my vise is all messed up here. My son broke it. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, so I'm going to continue running with this. So I'm going to show you guys an idea basically. So I want to solder this this connection, you know, especially something big like this. You know, when you're dealing with fuel injection and electronics and things of that nature, you really have to have a solid electrical connection, and your grounds have to be 100%. You know, so that is critical whenever you're running anything that's computer controlled, or you're running electronics, you know, car share and things of that nature. So we want to make sure we have some good connections here. So let me show you guys an idea here. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to put some flux paste inside of this connector here, and I'm going to coat it really good. And then what I'm going to do, you got to put it on both sides basically if you want to get a good connection, because when you heat things up, the metal oxidizes, and then basically solder doesn't really connect very good to oxidized metal. So we set this here. I'm going to do the same on this end. What I did basically, and I'll just show an example on this other one, is I stripped this back far enough for this to bottom out basically. So this bottoms out, and I'm going to show you this idea here. So again, just coating this really good. Want to make sure and get a good solid connection here. Okay, so we're good right there. Test this out because I need to make sure that this fits in good. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up with a torch. Basically heating it up. And what I want to do is I want to fill this with solder. So I'm heating the connector and just kind of moving this up and down because I want the solder to melt inside of the connector basically and fill it up. And then what I'm going to do as this is filling up, heat going, and I'm just going to slowly drop this cable in there. And we're going to just let it soak in. Okay, so I have this cable terminated on the starter solenoid. And this is basically just mocking it up. You could see it. It's basically, I got it in just sitting in that hook there, and the positive battery cable is supposed to go in that hook as well. And it's coming back here to the battery tray. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do, what I'm thinking of doing here, and I think it's going to look pretty clean. So I'm going to route this cable underneath the battery tray, and then I'll land it right on the Mega Fuse block just behind the battery tray. So it'll be out of sight, out of mind. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I need to do basically is I'm going to stretch this out to length. Then I need to cut it, and then I need to put an end on it so I can land it on the Mega Fuse terminal block. All right, so this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. I have the clutter out of the way, and I have the cable routed, And again, it's going right under the battery tray there. And I have it just sitting right there. Of course, I have it all pulled out there, but it's right next to the mega fuse block. So what I'm gonna do next is cut that thing and put an end on it. Let's try this again. Okay, got it all boiling in there. I'm gonna drop this in there. Okay, so I was able to get this taken care of, and I got it all pushed all the way in. So what it is there's a hole at the top of this connector here, and basically what was happening earlier, obviously, is I was filling it up with solder, and it wouldn't fill up to the top because it was draining out the hole. So then I pushed the connector down closer to the vise here, so it was kind of sort of plugging the hole basically to allow me to fill it up. But then when I pushed this in, the cable in, now the cable wouldn't go in because it was too full of the solder. So what I did basically is I took it out of there, I heated it up, and then that allowed the excess solder to drain out of the connector as I was basically pushing the cable into the connector, and that allowed it to go all the way in. So we have a good solid connection now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heat shrink on. Okay, I'm just going to get this heat shrink going here. Pretty straightforward on this. Just gonna heat it up a little bit. Oh yeah. It's going on real nice. Excellent. Perfect. So I got the heat shrink on here on this connector. So I'm going to go ahead and install this on the starter solenoid and then land it on the mega fuse block, and then we'll move on to the next step with this cable. Okay, so my next connection is going to be to the alternator. Now I kind of alluded to earlier that this updated wiring harness is going to require a single wire alternator. So I ended up picking one up from Power Master, and for me it was important to have an alternator that looks like the factory original. The one that I have on the car actually does look like a factory original, but it's an old school with an external regulator. So I'm just going to have to just put that away, and maybe I could use it in the future or sell it. Probably ended up just selling it, but it's a brand new alternator. Anyways, so lessons learned on that. But let's get this opened up and I'll show it to you guys. This is really cool. It's just a simple install. It basically, it'll go in just like the alternator that's there right now. The only difference is it's just going to have a single connection, and that's basically what I got to do next. Is I need to connect that 6-gauge cable from the alternator to the mega fuse block. So I'm going to get the other alternator taken off and then get this thing installed. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys the difference between both alternators when you're looking up close. The one on the left is the factory replica that looks pretty much identical to the stock alternator, and then the one on the right obviously is the Power Master single wire alternator. So I'm gonna get that thing put on and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, so I have the Power Master alternator installed. Now, next thing I need to do is I need to make that 6-gauge cable that's going to land on the mega fuse block down there. So I'm going to get to work on that right now. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do here for the cable for the alternator that goes to the mega fuse block is I'm just gonna mock it up basically, and I'm gonna mark it with the marker, since now I'm basically to the final stages here as far as connecting these 6-gauge cables. So same thing here. I'm gonna route it under the battery tray, and it's gonna basically terminate just on the other side of the megafuse block that the starter solenoid does. So the starter solenoid post is here, and the post for the alternator power wire is right here. So they're on basically on both sides of the fuse. So I'm just mocking this up here, and it's gonna lay right on the frame there basically, and it's gonna come up and just land right back here. So I'm gonna mark this, and then I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna cut it and then put the connectors on it. So if you're wondering what kind of wire cutters I was using to cut this big 6-gauge cable, I went ahead and picked up a heavy-duty set to cut these. I didn't want to mess up anything that I had. I have like a small pair of dikes that I probably could have cut it with, but then it would have pinched the cable, and I need something that's strong that's just gonna cut it, you know, make a nice clean cut. So you'll see here it pretty much cuts like butter. So next thing I need to do basically is just prep the ends. All right, just gonna get this, got the connector on, just gonna get that heat shrink going, and we're good to go on this end. This is the side that's gonna go on the alternator. It still needs to have that little cap that goes on the end, this thingamajiggy here, and I'm gonna slide it on, but not gonna, of course, put it on yet, because I need things to cool down while I work on making the other end. This one actually went together really nice. I got a method down now, and I'll be introducing solder here. Yeah, it's ready. I'm going about halfway. Oh, dang it, it's dripping out. I gotta do this fast. Then I'm gonna stick the wire in there. There, oh, this one went all the way in. Excellent. Let it sit there for a sec. Yeah, if I pull on it, I mean, it's definitely attached really well. It won't pull out. But I'm gonna inspect it real quick, and then I'll drop that sleeve on it. Again, my son broke my vise. Hammering stuff. Oh yeah, now this looks really nice. And this is a side that's gonna go on the megafuse terminal block. So, cleaned up really nice. You know, this really turned out nice. Man, I'm stoked right now at all of this, as far as how it came together. This is really clean. Yeah, I'm giddy right now. So, just cinching this up here, this single wire for the alternator. And what I'll do is once I get this cinched up here, I'll swing the camera around so you can see the megafuse, how it's all made up. It came with the boot here that goes like the factory, that goes over the alternator. Usual, it's kind of long, so. But there we go, man, that fits perfect. That looks really good. Now the megafuse, I already have that. I just hand tighten the nut, because, you know, I'm still getting ideas, and these wires in the bottom, I'll have to bring them together somehow with the strap or something. It looks really good. So I'm gonna take this fender cover off and swing the camera so you can see what it looks like on the megafuse. That looks really nice on the alternator, and I'll swing this camera around so you can see the megafuse block. So on the left there basically is the alternator connection. Let me bring it up close. I got a glare with the lighting in here. The left is the alternator and the right is the starter. So they're both on, the power's going right across. And then next I'll connect that, put a connector on the power wire for the bulkhead. And then that'll be done as far as the power routing. So let me get to it right now. All right, so I got everything put back together. I put the top plate above the radiator, on top of the radiator here. Got that all put together. You know, of course, mega fuse block is wired up, so I've got the power all ready to go for the new wire harness. If you look on the bottom left corner, that is the power cable coming from the bulkhead wire harness. So the mega fuse block is made up and completed, at least for now. So that's the main power for the wire harness. The next thing I need to start working on is I need to figure out what the Holley Sniper. You can see these long connections here, connectors. These are really long, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all that additional slack. You know, if we look down here on the left, this is the O2 sensor cable, and I don't know if you could tell, but it's really long. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I want to try to hide everything. You know, I can't cut those connectors. Everything is pre-made. So I'm going to have to figure out, there's long extensions that go on those connectors with, you know, bundles of cable, ones that I think an 8-pin connector and a 10-pin connector that have wires that need to be connected. Some of them are provisions for future, whatever. I could remove those, but there's still a lot of things I need to connect on the Sniper. Also, I just have them kind of bundled on the right of the motor there. Those cables basically are, one of them, the green one is for the temperature sensor, and there's 4 wires that are for the wiper motor, and that pink wire there is going to go to the ignition, my ignition box, I believe. So I got to figure that one out. Everything looks really good so far. I'm very pleased. You know, this took me quite a while to do. You know, you would think, you know, just connecting a few cables doesn't really take very long, but it took me a while. So stay tuned, everybody, for the next portion of my build here. And thank you again for watching, and like and subscribe.